We don't really care. We're diving right in. Welcome to the show. We're diving right in because how to, so you're telling me that Dwayne Davis killed Tupac Shakur, so he's actually dead? Where's Suge Knight? He's still alive, right? Interesting. Suge Knight was there, wasn't he? Yeah. Uh, Anyways, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. What we're going to do is I was just watching a little bit. I don't know how old this is. I honestly don't, but I've been busy, but I got time. And I'm thinking all my life it's been like, oh, Tupac's not dead. He's been spotted here. Tupac's alive. He's not dead. So, I mean, if this guy says he killed him, this puts all that to rest. Maybe if it's real. Now, we don't know if it's real. I do believe it. I believe Suge Knight has an idea. Here's what's crazy is all three. So this guy that's getting charged with killing Tupac, he said all three of the other guys that were with him when they killed Tupac in the car are all dead. Unrelated circumstances, but they're all dead. Basically meaning that the streets, Tupac's people probably knew that they killed him, and that's why they're all dead. So basically, this guy's the only one alive out of the four that were in the car when they shot him, apparently. So he's the only survivor. He said the other three are dead. I think it's Tupac's people got vengeance on him. But basically, we're just watching a little court hearing. I don't.
So often what happens in these cases, a lot of international press here to cover this event. Michael, are you surprised at all by what happened today, given the fact that Keefe D, Dwayne Davis, does not have an attorney or did not have an attorney with him in court?
Verdict?
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, this case has been going on for a little bit over 30 years now, and the fact that his attorney is out of California, had to be here on short notice, makes sense. He's probably going to have to find local counsel as well, so that he could pro hoc vice in.
He's going to have to find. That's in a different case.
This case has been going on now, as you mentioned, for almost 3 decades. So
it's real.
A lot of people didn't think this day would actually come, even though a lot of people knew what presumably happened that night. Keefe D, obviously innocent until proven guilty. What was the reaction in the legal community here?
Well, once his home was raided, several months ago, it was expected, at least in the local criminal defense community. I mean, they typically aren't going to go in and raid a home, especially with a case with this much history, without expecting to find something, at least from the law enforcement perspective.
What do you expect to happen next at that October 19th hearing? Obviously, that will be an arraignment. He should enter a plea, but do you expect anything else to happen?
I would imagine within the next 2 weeks, he's going to find local counsel so that his California attorney could pro hoc vice in, which will allow him to practice in front of the Nevada State Bar for these limited purposes. And then they'll probably schedule a bail hearing where his attorneys will...
Keith. This is Trey. He used our trading robot to pass 3 FTMO $100,000 challenge and got funded.
Davis, a.k.a. Keefe D,
Here we go.
for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Yep.
Davis, the arrest of 60-year-old Dwayne Keith Davis, a.k.a. Keefe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Got him.
Davis was arrested this morning by my LVMPD criminal apprehension team. And this investigation started on the night of September 7th, 1996.
Wow.
It is far from over.
And my goal here today is to walk you through our investigation and what led us to the indictment of Dwayne Davis, also known as Keefe D, for the murder of Tupac Shakur. This case has been reviewed by our homicide team and homicide detectives for over 2.5 decades. And ultimately, our persistence in this investigation has paid off. Let me walk you through a timeline of events that as we know them right now. Prior to September 7th of 1996, as we all know, Tupac Shakur was an artist who was signed with Death Row Records. And that Death Row Records and its CEO, Marion Suge Knight, were closely affiliated with the Mob Piru criminal street gangs. and that they had an ongoing feud with the Southside Compton Crips. Dwayne Davis was the leader and shot caller of the Southside Compton Crips. And both of these gangs operated out of the Southern California area of Compton. On the night of September 7th of 1996, Tupac Shakur, along with Suge Knight, and members of their entourage, which include members of Mob Piru, came to Vegas to attend the Mike Tyson fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Tyson, damn, what a...
Members of the Southside Compton Crips, which included Dwayne Davis, along with his nephew Orlando Anderson, were also in attendance at the same event. As both were leaving the fight, members of Death Row Records spotted Orlando Anderson near an elevator bank inside the MGM. And at that time, they began to kick and punch him near that elevator bank. I will now show you hotel security footage, as many of you have already seen, related to this incident.
The whole kit and caboodle.
And on this incident, you will see Tupac Shakur, who's wearing a shiny satiny shirt, along with Marion Suge Knight, who's a large man in a brown suit, punching and kicking Orlando Anderson. Following this incident, you'll see hotel security intervene.
Wow.
And then they will leave the area of the fight.
You guys seeing this? Yeah, I mean, this is Tyson fight, Vegas.
A Clark County grand jury has indicted Dwayne Keith Davis with one count of open murder with use of a deadly weapon
guys, all of our
with
lives,
a gang enhancement.
People are like,
Davis will appear in court in the next few days or so for a hearing to determine his custody status and to set a jury trial date.
I don't know.
This grand jury has been receiving evidence for months and has determined there is sufficient evidence to justify the filing of this criminal indictment. I've assigned two of my top prosecutors, Mark DiGiacomo and Banu Palal, to prosecute this case.
I love how they're playing. Dude,
I know a lot of people have been watching and waiting for this day.
Okay, so how long has that Tupac fight video been out? Tell me that. I've seen it a million times. How come 27 years later these bastards are playing it like evidence? You fucking had the video this whole fucking time, and the guy that did it was in the video. Now you're acting like, oh, look at it, we found this video. He's on the video. And dude, the video's been around for 30 years. Don't take credit. Look at this. Unreal.
Shakur is a music legend.
Yeah.
And for a long time, this community and worldwide have been wanting justice for Tupac.
I don't know.
Today we are taking that first step.
And you just heard how and what
he's probably not the one that's actually
led to the history of Dwayne Keith Davis getting arrested. But right now, our own Anjanette Levy from the Law and Crime Network.
Dude, Anjanette Levy is whined and fucking Zanny-barred out. Look at her Nancy Pelosi looking ass. Holy shit. Is anybody else seeing what I'm fucking looking at? Oh, boy, brutal. Drink some wine.
Was in that courtroom when the supposed arraignment didn't occur, but there was a court proceeding. Anjanette, tell us everything you saw, everything about what happened, why it was put off. And I know that you have a guest with you also to discuss this. Yes. Welcome.
Well, Michael Troiano is a defense attorney here in Las Vegas. He is with me. And Michael, thanks so much for joining me.
Okay,
Linda, first off, Dwayne Keith.
Here's what I was going to say. Think of this. This guy's like 25 years old. The Tupac case is 27 years old. So he wasn't even born when this murder happened. Well, 27 years later, imagine if you're a young 20-year-old and you're signing up for the police department or whatever, and some fucking guy comes across and admits to killing Tupac. Of course you're going to jump on that and fucking look like a legend. Look at this kid. He's sweeping in, taking him down.
PD Davis walked into that courtroom. He has an attorney, but his attorney, Edie Fall, cannot be here today. So this hearing was continued.
Has an attorney, but he No show, no call, no show. Did he call in sick? Yeah.
For 2 weeks until October 19th. So Keefe D did not enter a plea. He will continue to be held without bail at the Clark County Jail.
No bail.
And so really nothing of consequence happened today. We were expecting him to enter a plea, but obviously he doesn't have counsel with him, but he has retained counsel. There was a woman who was here in support of him. There was also a rapper from Death Row Records in the courtroom. Wow. More media than anybody else, if you can imagine that. That's often what happens in these cases. A lot of international press here to cover this event. Michael, are you surprised at all by what happened?
He fucking admitted it 27 years later. This guy that's a tough secret to keep. Imagine just trying to keep that secret, just like you're fucking, and you get a little sauced, you get a little drunk. How are you gonna hold back from telling people like, yo, I fucking shot Tupac, dude? No way. Like, yeah, bro, I fucking actually shot Tupac. And then like, no one believes you. So like all of a sudden now the story's coming out. I wonder how many people he's told that story.
Given the fact that Keefe D, Dwayne Davis, does not have an attorney or did not have an attorney with him in court.
Of course.
No, I'm not surprised. I mean, this case has been going on for a little bit over 30 years now. And the fact that his attorney is out of California had to be.
Time out. This case has been ongoing for 30 years, so it does not surprise me that he doesn't have an attorney. You're telling me, oh, this case has been going on 30 years. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He doesn't have one now. He had 30 years to get a lawyer. 30 years.
Be here on short notice makes sense, and he's probably going to have to find local counsel as well so that he can throw Hawk PJ in and be able to practice here in front of the Clark County courts.
Guilty.
This case has been going on now, as you mentioned, for almost 3 decades. So a lot of people didn't think this day would actually come, even though a lot of people knew what presumably happened that night. Keefe D, obviously innocent until proven guilty.
What's over here?
So for it to be hardly any evidence, or they didn't have anyone in custody for years. It was just, like
who's this guy?
They was not trying to bring justice for Tupac.
Yeah.
So to finally get justice, it feels great.
Time out. They found Tupac's killer, and this is it. Think of it. This is it, dude. There should be fucking riots. Like, yeah. Fucking Tupac's killer. You killed Tupac, you piece of fucking shit. He was a legend. You fucking killed a legend. Anyways, I don't know. This is actually surprising me that no one's even talking about it.
I talked to one of the first officers who was on the scene and found Tupac shot, and Suge Knight was shot as well. And he said that night, nobody saw anything. Nobody was talking. People in the entourage, things like that. What would you say to people about that whole, like, don't talk, that whole no snitching kind of culture that exists? Maybe it was more hardcore back then, but what would you say to people who have information about homicides and are fearful to talk and tell what they know?
The question.
I would say if you have any information on homicides, you would want to treat people how you would want to be treated if it was you in a situation that got murdered. If you think about it, you would want people to come forward and speak on the behalf of the dead individual that's passed away. So don't hold back information. Valuable information that on a murder case is super valuable. It's not like a death case or something. I'm just saying. Maybe
if people had cooperated, this wouldn't have taken 27 years.
Yes, ma'am. I doubt it. Yes, ma'am. It was a lot of
the gang and
Mr. Wonderful here.
All right, so my friend. That's it, guys. Folks, that's it. Thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful day. I don't know. That's it. Like, share.